friends, welcome to a practice. Welcome to your practice. This morning we're really going to be focusing on days 1 through to 6 or 7 of your menstrual cycle, so the time during your bleed. So as you can imagine, today's practice will be really slow and gentle, and the intention of the practice is to open up the hips, make some space in through the lower belly, and allow the body just to settle into this time where we are shedding and letting go of that which doesn't serve us. The oils which I really love to use during this phase of my cycle are layered. So I may use Ice Blue, which is actually the athletic blend, also known as Deep Blue in some parts of the world. And it has oils like wintergreen, peppermint, ylang ylang, helichrysum, blue tansy, which are really helpful for any pain or inflammation in the body. So I may take a drop or two and just roll it onto my lower belly. So feel free to do that with me now if you'd like. Drop or two onto the lower belly. Now this Ice Blue also comes in a rollerball, it comes in a stick, and also in a cream. So I do prefer to use the cream quite often just because it spreads so much better, but for today we're just sticking with the oils. So I layer it with Ice Blue. And you may even want to get into the lower parts of your belly as well if that's comfortable for you, if you're feeling any tension or tightness or anything that's uncomfortable in through that lower belly. Then I like to layer it with some copaiba, a drop of 2 of copaiba, also layering on the lower belly, but then we'll take the leftover copaiba from our hands, so we'll pop it on the lower belly. And then we'll take the leftover copaiba from our hands and just roll it on through the back of the neck. So you want to get the back of the neck, you want to get the bottom of the skull, and just draw your hands up, really bringing that copaiba all the way up through that lower part of your neck and your head. You may even want to give yourself a little bit of a massage here as well, through the tops of the shoulders. And then the third oil we'll use is lavender, Lady Lavender. Again, layering it, a drop or 2 in your palms. And a little bit on the belly. I want you just to hold your hands onto that lower belly with that lavender. You can bring the thumbs to touch and place them close towards your belly button, with the fingers in a V shape down towards your midline. Just close down the eyes. We'll start off the practice. You'll see that the hands in themselves make a little heart shape in through the lower belly. As you're closing your eyes, I want to bring your attention into your hands and allow this feeling, all of your sensations, all of the feelings that you're having, bring them into your hands and let your hands transfer all that into your lower belly. You may find your hands are a little bit warm. And then release that. Bring your left pointer finger in through to the third eye and the right hand onto your lower belly, connecting in through the third eye and the lower belly. And we have remnants of lavender in through our hands as well. So the lavender essential oil on yin tang, the third eye, bringing us into a sense of openness, connectedness, awareness. and release. And so for this morning's practice, today's practice, you may need a block just to give yourself some support. You can pop your oils to the side, take a deep breath in with your palms. It smells so good. And with this block, we're just going to place it underneath the hips for now. You can either place it on the side, you can place it on the top, or you can place it flat. And the feet hug nicely on either sides of that block. So whether it's up or all the way on its first setting, second setting, or flat, hug the feet around the block. Bend the knees. If you're finding this is really uncomfortable on the knees or on the ankles, you can take a pillow, you can take any sort of prop and place it underneath the hips, which will essentially lift the hips up and take the pressure off through the knees and the ankles. And open up your left palm in a gesture of receiving. Take your right pointer finger and middle finger and place it now onto the third eye. And we're going to go through a round of Nadi Shodhana, which is alternate nostril breathing, really balancing the energies in the body, the left and the right hemispheres of the brain. So drop your right thumb onto your right nostril and breathe into your left nostril. Use your ring finger to close your left nostril and hold the breath. And then open up through the right nostril by releasing the thumb, breathing out through the right nostril. Keep your hands exactly how they are and breathe in through the right nostril. Close both nostrils, hold the breath. Release the ring finger, breathe out through the left nostril. In through the left. Close both nostrils, hold the breath. Release through the right. Breathe in through the right. Hold the breath, close both nostrils. Out the left. In the left. Close both nostrils, hold the breath. Breathe out through the right. Just continue this way, in and out through one nostril, closing, and then out the other, and in and out again. Do this in your own timing, in your own breath, in your own rhythm. Really allowing the breath to be slow and steady. And if you're looking for something to focus on here, something to almost improve on, then the intention would be firstly, to extend the exhale for longer periods of time than you're breathing in. And also to hold the breath at the top of the breath. Now, contraindications for holding the breath are if you are pregnant, if you have extreme high or low blood pressure, and if neither of those are your experience, then feel free to hold the breath as long as you can. Really allowing the breath to soften the body. Your focus now is only on the breath. Take 2 more breaths here. We'll end the revolution with the left nostril breathing out. And then release your hand down. Just take a couple of minutes here as you allow your awareness to sink into how you feel, How do you feel in this moment? Has anything shifted through the breath? Anything changed? You may open the breath, remove any props that you're sitting on, place them at the front of your mat, come onto hands and knees. You may need to release the knees a little bit because if you've been sitting down on them, they might be a little bit tight. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Your palms are flat, your knees are directly underneath your hips and your palms directly underneath the shoulders. Breathing in, lifting up through the chest, dipping the belly down, making sure that you're not slumping into your shoulders. Exhale, rounding through the back, chin to chest. Inhale. This is what we call cat and cow. A beautiful opportunity here for you to allow the belly to open and then the spine to stretch as well. Slow and steady, breathing in. 2 more rounds here. One more round. And finding your neutral spine, bring your paws, one paw point forward, your hands one paw point forward, and then sit back onto your heels, tuck the toes under and open up through the backs of the feet. So from here, I want you to stay with your knees a little bit wider than hip distance apart, pressing into your palms a lot. Sink your hips back as much as possible. Keep your hips exactly where they are. Walk your hands back towards your knees and sit up on your feet. Really opening up through the backs of the feet. So traditionally this pose is done with the knees and the feet together, but we're giving some space in through the hips today. So just allow your weight to settle in through the heels. This is opening up through the feet, yeah? Toe stretch. 2 more breaths here. Breathing in and out through the nose from now on. If you know how to work with Ujjayi breath, then do so. This is a slight constriction in through the back of the throat, the glottis. We're just allowing this raspy oceanic sound to be present on the breath in and the breath out. And release that. Hands forward. You may tip tap, give your yogi drum roll at the back of the feet here, letting any tension dissolve as you tap the feet out. Tuck the toes again and press into downward facing dog. We will not be here for long. This is considered an inversion. And so when we're menstruating, we try not to lift the hips higher than the heart, just simply because we're looking for the blood flow to move its way out of the body. Just allowing the backs of the legs to open here, bring some life in through the back body. You may pedal the feet out if you need, opening up through the hamstrings. Remember that down dog is more about a long spine than it is about straight legs. So if your down dog looks like bent knees, that's totally fine, as long as your spine is long and the ears are in between the biceps. Take 1 more breath here. And then release your knees down to the mat. Knees together, feet together, sit back, and then swing your legs all the way around and find a cross-legged position. I'm going to go through what we call hip circles here, except we're going to be moving the body instead of the hips. So just roll forward and back, opening up through the hips. Other way. Just gives the hips a little bit of a massage as well as the glutes. You'll feel that the glutes are pressing into the mat. And so as you're moving your way around the central point, you're massaging through the glutes. Also getting a bit of a stretch through the side body. Come through to center. Your seated position here can either be with both feet in alignment so that the heels are in alignment with the midline of your body. If that feels uncomfortable, you can always just crisscross your legs as much as you need in order to feel completely solid. And what I mean by that is that both hips are centered, both sitting bones are pressing down into the earth. There's no lifting in either side. Yeah? If you need to place a block, a blanket, a pillow, or any sort of prop underneath your hips, that's also good, because what that allows for the hips to be higher than the knees, which takes pressure off the front of the hips. So I'll sit on the floor, but if you need to lift your hips up, please go ahead and do so. Take your left hand, place it down on the mat. I want you to slide the left hand all the way to the top or the bottom of the mat, depending on which side you're in. Take your right hand, lift it up to the sky. This is your option 1. So your elbow can reach down to the ground if that feels good. Otherwise, your left elbow is just hovering off the mat. Your right hand is reaching directly up to the sky, but what you don't want to do is lift your hips. You want to keep both sitting bones pressing into the earth. Your gaze can either be up towards your top hand or down towards your bottom hand. Option 1, you should feel a really deep stretch in through the right side of the body, so the right back hip, the right side of the body. If this is enough for you, I want you to stay here. If you'd like a little bit more, you can take your top hand and reach it towards the left corner, keeping your sitting bones pressing down. Both sitting bones on the mat. Still a deeper stretch now in through that side body. Remember, you have the option to drop the left elbow to the ground. And if this is enough, then stay here. If you'd like a deeper stretch, wrap the top elbow around the head, make the arm heavy, and you'll notice that this opens up through the side body even more. Deep stretch here. This will go into the front of the hip even, the side of the hip. Take 2 more breaths here. And you're opening up through the fascia and the connective tissue. Remember, you can take your gaze down to the ground if that feels better for you. There's no straining in the neck. Bringing some life into those hips. And if you're in the lowest setting, the most challenging of these poses, I want you to take your gaze up if it's not already. Release the arm up to the sky and then slowly lift your way up and out. Let's try that on the other side. So first, slide your right hand towards the top or the bottom of the mat. Your elbow can be lifted. You can even use a prop under your elbow if that feels better for you. Left hand reaches up to the sky. First option is to stay here. Second option is to lift and lengthen to the opposite side of the room, reaching towards the corner. And then the third option is to relax the arm completely on top of the head, really creating some extra gravity. It's heavier, it's much heavier here, opening up through the side bodies. 2 more breaths here. Coming out of the pose really gently and softly. If your arms relaxed on top of the head, lift it up. And then slowly coming out. Good, 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 good. All right, coming back into your hands and knees. Finding your way into downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward towards your right hand. Now, if you need to use your right hand to bring the foot forward, then please do so. The knees directly on top of the ankle. Drop the left knee down to the earth and untuck the left toes. Breathing in, bring your hands onto your right knee. Yeah, open up the palm of the right hand, which will open up through the chest. Drop the shoulder down. Activate through the back leg. So instead of just sagging down, You're going to squeeze in through that back part of the leg, the back glute. Lift the left hand up to the sky, breathing in here. Stay for the exhale. 4 more breaths here. Breathing in. Exhale 2. Breathing in 3. Breathing in 4. Breathing in 5. And then release your hands down. Keep your foot exactly where it is. Bring your right hand to the inner edge of that right foot. Toe heel the right foot out ever so slightly so that the outer edge of the right foot is parallel to the outer edge of your mat. Option is to stay here. You may even choose to bring a block or something that's a little bit elevated so that your hands are lifted, which takes the pressure off the front of the hip. You can turn your block sideways or even lengthways, and this creates even more space. Yeah. So here you're feeling a bit of a stretch in through the front of the left hip. If you find that the back knee is pressured into the ground and you need a bit of relief, you can slide a blanket under there. You can allow the knee to be propped up on some sort of cushion, which really does help and takes the pressure off. But if you're here, I want you to focus on opening up through that front of the hip. We're only here for 2 more breaths. And as well as opening up through that left hip, you're actually compressing in through the right hip as well. So think about a hose pipe. When you've got a hose pipe and you kink the hose pipe, you're creating pressure in a particular part of the hose pipe. But then when you release that kink, the water flows through it. It gushes through that part of the hose pipe. And so what we're doing there in this right part of the hip is quite similar to that, where we're compressing in through that right side, and when we release it, when we release the pose, you'll find that there's this gush of fresh oxygenated blood full of nutrients, increasing the circulation in through that part of the body as well. All right, coming out of that pose, I want you to stay exactly where you are, but turn the right toes into 45 degrees. You'll find that the knee then follows the direction of the toes, and then sway the right foot out so you're on the outer edge of that right foot. Come to lean onto that left hand and open up through the chest, where you're opening up through to the right side, opening up through into that right hip. Take a breath in. Exhale, come back through to center. Your right foot facing forward. Your hands now both on the ground. Keep your weight onto your hands. Draw the right knee to meet the left knee and sit back into a child's pose. And just rest here for 3 or 4 breaths. Your head either resting on the mat, stacked onto your palms, or if you like, 2 fists to make a little bit more space for the head. This is very supportive for the neck here with the 2 fists. Of course, you can take a prop, place it underneath the forehead as well. Whatever works for you. 5 breaths here. Allow the body to rest. Hips settling down towards the heels. All right, coming out of that pose, stretch your arms forward, spread your fingers wide, tuck the toes under, and press into down dog. We're going to go through the other side. Left foot steps forward in between your hands. Move the foot forward with your hands, your arms if you need a little bit of extra support. Drop the back knee. Untuck the toes. If you need cushioning in through that back knee, grab it now. Otherwise, walk yourself up through to the top of that left leg. All right. So we're not dumping all of our weight in. We're pressing in through that front leg so that the knee's directly on top of the ankle. What dumping would look like is if you're completely relaxed in this pose. And although that does stretch your body, this is not what we're doing completely. We're keeping in through some sort of tension in through that front leg. So the front knee on top of the front ankle. We're pressing into the back knee, pressing into the back foot. There's pressure in through that back foot. And then we're lifting up, turning the left palms up and then lifting up through the right arm. 5 rounds of breath here, breathing in. Again, we're not dumping, we're lifting up, squeezing through that back glute as well. In and out through the nose, exhale 2. Exhale 3. Exhale 4. Exhale 5. Drop your hands down to the mat. Toe heel your left foot out now so that it's on the outer edge of the mat. Parallel, right? Option to stay here. Now we really are sinking the hips down. So whereas the first pose is more active, the second pose is more passive. So your hands are strong, your arms are strong. There's tension in through the front of the body to lift and draw the chest forward, but the legs and the hips are allowing gravity to draw them down. Again, option here to stay on your hands. You can use a prop to lift you up higher, or if you like, you can even drop your elbows down to the ground if you have that space in through the hips. 2 more breaths here. Really allowing that pressure to come in through the front of the hip and then opening in through the right side. And deep constriction in through the left side. Stay right here. Just toe your left foot out so that it is at a 10 o'clock. Your knee follows the same direction. Bring your weight onto your right hand, left hand onto the left knee. Find a gentle twist. Breathing in. You're here for 2 rounds of breath. Exhale. Breathing in. You can even fan the foot out so that it's on the outer blade of the left foot. And come back. Bring your hands to the mat. Lift your left foot up. Draw your knees to touch at the back of the mat. Sit back into child's pose. Knees touching, heels touching. Again, you may even wish to bring your hands on either side of your face. Here, cupping your chin, your jaw. This is opening up through the throat as well. There's a deep connection here in our bodies with the pelvis and the throat. You may find that at times your neck is sore when the pelvic region is tight, or vice versa. So we're going to look at opening up through the neck next. Releasing this child's pose variation. Again, find a seat. If you want to sit onto your heels, you can. You want to have the knees a little bit further apart, and always feel free to prop yourself up on a block if that feels more comfortable. Interlace your fingers, press them forward, round through the shoulders, round through the spine. Drop your chin to your chest. And then release, bring the arms up, find a neutral spine, shoulders over hips. Your fingers are now interlaced, your palms pressing up, biceps wrapped around the ears. Turn your palms to face forward, bend the elbows and bring your hands to the back of your head. Rest the back of the skull in the hands. All right. So firstly, stay here and with your elbows wide, and notice how this really opens up through the front of the shoulders. You may even wish to lean your head back into your hands, which opens up through the chest even deeper into the front of the shoulders. Now we're going to come back up to neutral spine and bring the elbows to touch in front of your face. almost to touch anyway. Drop the chin to the chest, bring the elbows together even more, and allow the whole body to slowly start rounding in on itself. Deep spinal roll. Your elbows are going to come down towards your knees or your thighs. Belly nice and tight. And then slowly start to roll your way back up. This time I want you to keep your elbows where they are. Don't open them up. Just keep them where they are. Lengthen through the spine. And as soon as your spine is now in its neutral position, just drop the chin back down towards the chest and slowly roll the head from side to side. The weight of the arms now, with the roll, starting to open up through the back of the neck. And if you find any tight spot or tension in any area, any part of this roll, you can hang out there for a bit longer. And you'll find that this even opens up through the lower spine, maybe the thoracic spine as well. The whole back body is connected by a piece of connective tissue. So when we open up through the feet, like we did in toe stand earlier, or toe stretch, foot stretch, this also then opens up inadvertently the back of the neck. Come through central, neutral, and lift the head, elbows open wide, release the fingers. Good, and just go through a little roll of the neck, left and right. Good. Come back up through center. Let's set ourselves up for Shavasana. So this has been a very gentle practice. The intention here is just to move the body. We're not looking to energize the body. We're not looking to change our state at all. All we're doing is opening up through the hips to allow for energy to move. In Shavasana, you may wish to have the knees slightly bent. You can lie down, your feet naturally falling outwards. You may wish to place a block on your belly, palms open. And just lie here for anything between 5 and 10 minutes, allowing the whole body to relax. And this is what we call corpse pose. The complete surrender of the physical body. If you can stay here longer, then please do so. Otherwise, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Stretch your arms out long. Point your toes, stretch to the belly. Allow the whole body to elongate. Now slowly drawing little wrist circles and ankle circles. Draw the knees into the chest. Hug yourself. So much gratitude for having made the time to practice, right? You can grab on either side of the feet and draw the feet up to the sky in a very brief little happy baby, allowing the knees to come towards the shoulders or the armpits, opening up through the hips, knees to touch, release the pose, rock yourself up and down, and find a seat. Just take a moment here. You can bring your left hand onto your heart, your right hand onto your belly, or both hands onto your belly. A moment of gratitude for this incredible body that you have, for the practice that is yoga. Open your eyes. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope that you enjoyed this practice. Feel free to let me know how you experienced it in the comments below. And if you've got any questions, as always, feel free to ask away. All right, my friends, have a good day. Bye for now.